today I want to talk about prayer. This week and next week we'll be reading the same passages from the Sermon on the Mount and talking about prayer. People all over the world pray. They pray to God, they pray to the gods, they pray to guiding spirits, they may lift up prayers to saints. Some even pray to the sun, moon, and stars, they pray to ancestors, they pray to whatever they may think is a higher power. And even people who don't believe that God exists may mutter a prayer just in case. Prayer is as natural to human beings as breathing. And yet Jesus had to teach us about prayer, and he did it on a number of occasions. He never really taught the disciples how to preach, but he did teach them how to pray. And although prayer is as necessary to the spiritual life as oxygen is to our natural lives, there's a lot of confusion about prayer. And I'll be truthful, after many years of being in the ministry and following Jesus Christ, I still confess that I pray rather poorly. I'm still learning. Nevertheless, let us first raise a fundamental question. What is prayer? And I'm going to start off by kind of clearing the floor for a little bit. There are a number of inadequate ways of understanding prayer, many ways that maybe you hold it, that you were taught as a child. Let's look at just a few of them. I'll list 4, and we'll kind of clear the ground before laying a new foundation for the building. Here's some inadequate understandings of prayer. Prayer is simply making requests of God. Many people, if they were asked, what is prayer? They might say, prayer is asking God for things. To them, prayer means presenting God with a wish list, a sort of bless me list. Prayer, understood in this way, means assaulting heaven with a barrage of petitions. If the petitioner offers many requests, it's kind of like throwing in the mud pies against the wall. Maybe a few of them will stick, and God will graciously grant a few. In this view, God becomes a sort of cosmic bellhop, waiting eagerly to jump into action and upon our demand. God serves our needs, our wishes, our wants. And then there's a lot of disappointment when God does not grant the request. So people will say, well, I don't need God. I prayed. God didn't answer my prayer. So I'm through with this praying business. No more. However, doesn't that sort of reverse the relationship of the divine order of things? Because God is not the heavenly gopher. God is God and we're on earth. The preacher who wrote the book of Ecclesiastes centuries before Christ had a powerful thought when he wrote these words. Listen to this. Guard your steps when you go to the house of God. Go near to listen rather than offer the sacrifice of fools who do not know that they do wrong. Do not be quick with your mouth. Do not be hasty in your heart to utter anything before God. God is in heaven and you're on earth, so let your words be few. Some folks wonder, what do you do in prayer after a few minutes? If we are called to spend an hour in prayer, many folks will respond, well, why so long? I wouldn't know what to say after the first 5 minutes. Such an attitude is understandable if we think that prayer is simply asking for things. I mean, how many things do we want? We run out of requests, then what do? What do we say? Now, I want to say that prayer includes making requests, but it does not exhaust the meaning of Christian prayer. Here's a second inadequate conception of prayer, is that prayer is just trying to persuade God. Many people think that prayer is trying to coerce or force God to act on our behalf. The idea is that God really doesn't want to help us, at least not very much. However, with enough pressure, we can compel God to do something for us. We bombard heaven with pleading and with begging. Perhaps with enough persuasion, God will choose to show a little bit of favor. Some people urge to form us some kind of a pressure group, getting several people praying together for the same thing, and this increases our chances of moving God's hand. This really is another view that proves unworthy of God. The Danish philosopher and theologian Søren Kierkegaard in the 19th century said, prayer does not change God, but it changes him who prays. Sometimes the idea that we coerce God leads to long prayers, believing that we can turn God's head and hand by sure abundance of our words. It can also lead us to very loud prayers. Have you ever been with people that felt they had to shout their prayers out? Those who assume that God is very far away and therefore more apt to listen if we simply raise the decibels. On the other hand, maybe God is just a little bit hard of hearing and benefits from an increase in the volume. Now, I was brought up to sort of think that way, that prayers are more effective when you scream. I remember being in Bible college, and I went down to the prayer room on the hallway, and it was actually like a padded cell in a way. It had a lot of padding to try to keep it quiet. But I'd get up early in the morning because I had to drive a school bus, and I'd go down and have a few moments of prayer, and I'd yell at the top of my lungs. And I know that's hard for you to imagine. But one time, a guy busted in the door and said, "Would you please pipe down? I can't sleep." Well, I felt offended at first, but after a few minutes, I realized, why am I yelling? It's not necessary to pray long for God to take notice. God can even hear a whisper. God understands even a sigh, a groan too deep for words. God knows even our thoughts and numbers the hairs on our head. God can respond to a quick cry for help from the vehicle is careening off the road, or a pilot is tail spinning in a burning plane to hit the earth below. God knows and God hears. Here's a third inadequate misconception about prayer, is to assume that prayer requires special holy words in order to address God. This view has contributed to the reason why many people say, well, Pastor Kim, I just can't pray. I don't know the right words. They've heard others pray so beautifully. Many people can skillfully craft words and form sentences with poetic skill. Some folks know how to flower up their language when addressing God. And even though I would say public prayers may strive for some kind of aesthetic beauty, this is not the essence of what prayer is. No special holy words make prayer prayer. Prayer is not a formula of flawless prose. Prayer need not be adorned with special archaic and antique language. It does not call for using the King James Version, as though God prefers being called thee or thou than you. I wish to add here that there's no special posture for prayer either. Some people choose to kneel. Go to the church that Zephyrs grew up in, an Episcopal church. You put a little kneeling bench down and said a few words of prayer before the service. Kneeling. Some pray better when they stand, or even walk around. Some fold their hands, and others may lift their hands toward heaven. Some pray with eyes closed and heads bowed, while others prefer to keep their eyes open and their face uplifted. I like to pray while I'm walking around the park. I read the Bible, and I can pray because it keeps my blood flowing in my head. Otherwise, I go to sleep when I close my eyes and bow my head. I especially recommend, however, to keep your eyes open if you pray while you're driving, especially if I'm in the car. Here's another inadequate view. Prayer should be attended by some special feeling or some special emotion. Some people think that a special feeling or emotional experience would attend prayer for it to be effective. We kneel in prayer and begin praying, but after a few minutes, we don't feel any different. I didn't feel anything. So we try again. Still no feeling. Therefore, we end the session by concluding that the prayer must not have been any good. I didn't get anything out of that. But what we mean is that there was just no feeling. There was no sense of awe. There was no ecstasy. Why pray if I don't feel anything? Why pray if I feel worse afterwards? Have you ever prayed and felt a little worse after that? Sometimes prayer may increase our sense of emptiness. We feel our own inward spiritual poverty as we confront emptiness and unworthiness. We may even experience boredom. Have you ever prayed and felt that the heavens were just brass? And every prayer that you sent up just bounced right back to you? Have you ever prayed and felt that you were only speaking into empty space? No one heard. No one answered. I'm just a fool babbling into space. My prayers just evaporate into thin air. We feel that way sometimes. wrote Psalm 13 wondered if God was on the throne taking care of business. This person in ancient Hebrew, possibly David, wrote, "How long, O Lord? How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me?" Honest prayer. We all have those feelings at times. It's a common human experience when we pray. This misconception holds that when we pray, we should have some kind of special spiritual feeling, some deep emotion. In order to overcome the absence of feelings, people increase the volume or even the intensity of their prayers. They try to manufacture emotions. Sometimes after a while, you can induce some kind of feeling. However, I cannot help but think that maybe folks confuse an episode of self-ventilation for a divine visitation. God does not promise good feelings when we pray. Prayer is often quite plain and quite unadorned. The prayer session may be deeply emotional or it may be as dry as bleached bones. Perhaps to God, the very best and most effective prayers are those uttered in the sincerity of the heart with no emotional props. Sometimes we just pray by raw will alone. And also we come to church sometimes when I don't get anything out of it. There's no special feeling, and I went home feeling lighthearted and great. Not all the time, but I come because I want to come, because God wants me to come. I pray sometimes because I need to pray, not because I want to pray. We drag our flesh and make it pray. And the truth is, all along, God looks at the heart. God tests the attitude. God knows our thoughts. We cannot impress God with long prayers because God is not more likely to hear loud prayers. God cannot be flattered with well-chosen words said in beautifully crafted sentences. God remains unimpressed by our oratory skills. However, God sees the desperate soul, committed to prayer and devoted to communicate with God, whether there's any feelings whatsoever. It could be that the most effective prayers are those uttered with no feeling. It's sincere prayer is the heart cry when offered in even an artless and rough manner. Now, those are some of the misconceptions about prayer. Prayer is asking for things. Prayer is pressuring God. Prayer is special holy words and special gestures. Prayer is an emotional experience. But this brings us to the more positive definition of what is prayer, and I'll develop this more next week. But before I do, I'll just say prayer is really simply this. It's an act of the will of lifting the heart and the mind up to God. The first thing I wish to say is that prayer is simply lifting the heart and the mind to God. It unites the mind and the affections and the emotions and the will, and we give it to God. It is deliberate. It's intentional. And we bring ourselves before God because we know that God has invited us to communicate. The purpose for which God created us is contained in the little Greek word koinonia, which we translate fellowship. It's the same word that we translate communion. We have holy koinonia, a period of union with God, common union. This is what the writer of 1 John said. We proclaim to you what we have seen and heard, so that you may have koinonia with us. And our koinonia, our fellowship, is with the Father and with His Son, Jesus Christ. God wills communion with human beings, and that's a beautiful picture that God was communing with human beings in the opening chapters of Genesis. You know the story. It said, then the man and his wife heard the sound of the Lord God as He was walking in the garden in the cool of the day. That sort of fellowship. God made human beings to commune with us. Contrary to the belief that prayer is assaulting heaven with a barrage of requests, prayer is more like a conversation. In fact, Jesus presented it like a warm, intimate conversation between a child and a parent. He taught His disciples to address God as Father in the Aramaic Abba, or in modern English, Daddy or Papa. That is the term of familiarity. That's the term of intimacy and endearment. God longs for the conversation with God's children. God wills not only to listen to us, but God also wants to speak to us. Prayer is a conversation with the heavenly Abba, the Papa. We do not have to do all the talking. We do not need to keep a feverish pitch of words so that we squeeze all silence out. There's nothing wrong with sitting in silence, practicing quiet, silent contemplation. You can open the Bible and read it. Dwell on the message. Ruminate on it. God can speak there. We do not need to fill the room with jabber and pack in every syllable we can. God may wish to speak to our hearts, and sometimes the noise of our words drowns out the divine voice. Sometimes God speaks in a gentle breeze. Sometimes God speaks in a still, small voice. Have you ever been with someone who does all the talking and just never shuts up? They don't have any periods at the end of sentences that give you a chance to get in a word edgewise. Conversation really is two ways. Henry Nouwen wrote, "Somewhere we know that without silence, words lose their meaning. That without listening, speaking no longer heals. That without distance, closeness cannot cure." When we approach God, we come to communion. Sure, we bring our requests. However, that does not exhaust what we do in prayer. We talk and we listen. We inhale and we exhale. Both are necessary. Sometimes God fills our hearts with joy and peace. At other times, we may sense little or nothing in a prayer session. Sometimes we may enter the abyss of the dark night of the soul. The effectiveness of a prayer is not dependent on our feeling or the insights that we get at that moment. So I want to encourage you, just release prayer into the air and let God choose when and where and how to answer. Give God time to speak to. Listen. Ponder. Meditate on Scripture. For the unseen Father who sees what is done in secret, hears what is done in secret, and longs for communion with us frail children of dust and feeble as frail. God wants to hear from you, and God wants to speak.